Motorwerx.
How's it going, everybody? Aaron with Siegfried's Motorwerx, and on this video here today, you don't want to miss it because it's been a year and a half in the making. Not literally, but what I mean by that is that the Genuine Scooter Company has been teasing us, flirting with us, and tempting us with the allure of this Royal Alloy GP300. Was it worth the wait? Find out in this video because we're going to be taking you all up in this scooter's business, telling you the good, telling you the bad, taking you for not one but two test ride videos. If you like scooters, stay tuned till the very end. We have a cute little Easter egg for you hidden back there. Either way, before we get into this test ride review video, when you're finished watching, do me a favor, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of this video. We love hearing from you guys, and that's why we're doing this, is for you. Also, too, hit the subscribe button. You can stay up to date with everything going on at Siegfried's Motorwerx. But either way, let's get this Royal Alloy. Either way, let's get this Royal Alloy GP300 out and show you what it is all about.
You gonna keep your phone in your back pocket?
Yeah. Those are yours.
Oh.
People frickin' have a hissy if you're not wearing gloves.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you milk truck yesterday probably wasn't the best thing to do either. I was like, okay. Tell you one thing, G-Max does make a nice helmet. I do like this helmet a lot.
Alright, as we get going here, you can go ahead in front. As we cruise on through, alright. So as we head on down through here, this is actually the second test ride that we're going to be doing. The first test ride, my mic wasn't working. So it actually works out. We have to go to a little appointment down here, just one town over. So Kyle and I are taking both of the Royals out for a spin. I've been beyond impressed with this Royal. I actually did ride it home last night too. Again, didn't realize that my microphone had pooped the bed, so that was another wasted video. So this is technically the third ride video, the third ride that I'm doing on this, and third attempt at a ride video. Either way, let's start with the gauge cluster. A couple of things that I really like about this. So this has a really big digital speedometer there, has a fuel gauge on the left, which is a bar fill fuel gauge, has a tachometer on the right, and then also does have this really nice temp gauge here on the right hand side as well. Down here you do have your odometer, and this is also your trip meter. There's a button in the actual glove box. That's how you cycle through all of that fun stuff there. Biggest complaint I have with the Royal Alloy is these mirrors. These are basically useless in their stock form. Like, I found if I twist it like that, I can actually like kind of see behind me, but it's nothing crazy impressive. So I felt like doing this. This is definitely a lot more entailed as far as our ride video goes with this. So I'd love to hear actually from you guys in the comment section to see what you think of how this ride video is actually in comparison. So normally our ride videos are a lot quicker, but with how long we've been waiting for these Royal Alloys to come out, I felt like these bikes deserved more than just our normal intro the bike, ride the bike, come back and talk about the bike with the helmet on for 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then go on about your day. I felt like these deserved more than just that. So that's why we're doing a couple different steps to this ride video here. And truthfully, these scooters, yes, we have been waiting a really, really long time for these things to come. I want to say that these are like a year and a half later than what we had optimistically hoped for their arrival date initially. So while we have been waiting for these for a really long time, this is not a new motor to us. This isn't a new platform to us. This is just a new combination to us. And when I say us, I mean Siegfried's Motorwerx, and I also mean the North American market. So these scooters have been out in Europe for some time in this exact combination. We've had this motor in the United States since the Vespa GTS 300. since the Vespa GTS 300. This is the exact same motor, it's just not produced in Italy, so it's Italian design, and now it's Chinese or Eastern Asian manufactured. There's a lot of parts interchangeability between this and the GTS 300. Oil filter, air filter, belt, roller weights, any of your CVT components are going to be the same. Even your replacement parts, you're going to be able to utilize Vespa GTS 300 parts if the Royal Alloy is not available. And in theory, GTS 300 owners should be happy to hear that there's another supplier for their parts, because let's face it, a lot of times Vespa can be difficult to source parts. If the boys out at Scooter West don't have it in stock, you're waiting for several weeks for it. And honestly, that's probably one of my big reasons why I'm not such a humongous Vespa fan, is just because of that lack of parts availability, especially like for how modern the scooter is and how much newer it is. Like what started my whole sour taste in my mouth with Vespa was we had a 2000 and I want to say it was a 2012 Piaggio. It was 2008 or 2012. 12.6 in my mind though. Piaggio Fly 50 in our shop for a lady. It came in just before summer for what we assumed was going to be a carb clean, everything else. Well, it turns out the bike actually ended up needing a carb diaphragm for the needle. $3 some part, waited 16 weeks, and that's pre-COVID. Waited 16 weeks. So I can only imagine how, you know, poor their lead time is even today yet. Thankfully we haven't run into a lot of issues where we haven't been able to get the part from Scooter West. But even in that situation, Scooter West didn't have it, and yeah, it was 16 weeks for that carb boot diaphragm, or not carb boot, but carburetor diaphragm to show up. So as far as that goes there, that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth with Vespa. Luckily, throughout the entire duration that we've had Genuines in our shop and any extent of Genuines, other than randomly not being able to get certain body panels, we've always been able to get the mechanical parts that we need from Genuine. So I'm hoping that carries forward with the GTS 300, because these really are fantastic scooters, and I'd hate to see them get bogged down by the a lack of parts availability. As far as piloting this thing down the road, I am super impressed with how nice this thing rides. It doesn't really matter if you're going all out, you know, really ripping, or if you're just cruising. It has a really nice stout ride. These bikes are also super nimble as far as like if you do go to start weaving, like these bikes have a really nice nimble feel to them. These ride really nice. Like they're smooth. Yeah. So if you notice too, I mean, Kyle, he's 6 foot? 6'1" with a really long torso, so you gotta watch like the leg things, because Kyle does have like little short legs like a T-Rex's arms. But you can see it fits him really nice as far as the length of that. And one thing too is, especially too, you have that big butt on these things, which I really think helps fit normal sized people, makes you not look like you're riding a unicycle down the road there. So that's one feature of the Royal Alloy 300, and even the GT 150 features the same body that I really like. And like Kyle had just said there at the red light too, and that's kind of what I was talking about before, was how smooth this thing was. Like I said, maybe it's just in my head, but this thing I can speak to very confidently how nicely this handles down the road. I mean, truthfully, this is a very quick scooter, and especially too for how fast it is. I was very concerned, because my initial ride on this was literally just up the block and back, and with how fast it was, my concern truly was, is this thing going to be a death trap in the turns? Because, you know, is it going to have the sufficient braking? Is it going to have the suspension? Is it going to have, you know, even the stoutness of the frame to back up the power that this thing has over, especially like that GT 150? And I'm not disappointed one bit with how this thing is handled up until this point. It's been absolutely fantastic. Slow speeds cruising, high speeds, you know, ripping. There hasn't been a situation yet where I felt like the bike was out riding itself. I've been very fortunate with that. So here we are if you're from the central Pennsylvania area, specifically like Lebanon, Fredericksburg, Jonestown, and you need a notary, Jamie's Notary she is an absolutely fantastic notary service, and we utilize her whenever we can.
I need to shut mine off.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah, it is. That's why I wore the sweatshirt. Am I flashing in the front? Red?
Yeah.
Good. Alright, so we took care of what we needed to do there. So now we just need to run them on back to the shop. We are going to do a top speed run on them here. But yeah, I think the really cool thing about these things, honestly, is the fact that you can pick up this bike. What are these, like 73? These are like 73 we have them? 7,300?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for $7,300 out the door, tax, title, tax, freight, prep, doc fee, everything, you can pick up this brand new Royal Alloy GP300. Yeah, so for $7,300, you can pick up a brand new Royal Alloy GP300. You can't even pick up a used GTS for under $5, like a nice condition GTS 300 for under $5. Like, to me, I'd rather have the brand new equipment than to have the older Vespa. Plus, to me too, I think this is a better looking scooter than the Vespa. Vespas are big and chunky here. I mean, yeah, great, Vespas have underseat storage. I know a lot of people that's like, oh, the underseat storage, the underseat storage. I wear a backpack, man. Like, I'll toss a backpack on that. I have no issue at all putting a backpack on. And let me try and flag Kyle down. So we're gonna try and get a run at it here to see exactly how fast we can get these things. So here we go. We're gonna see if we can get them on a top speed run here. 68, 69, 68. We're going into a heck of a wind right now, man. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but there's a wicked tailwind here, or headwind I should say, coming at us. Hopefully once we get down through this little bit here, it'll clear up. We can open these things up. $72, $75, $76, $77. We'll tuck her on in a little bit. $78, $78, $80, baby. just very quickly, but we did see 80. Oh, okay. Kyle might have seen more out of his. I did see 83 at one point yesterday, but it also wasn't so crazy windy, so that might have been changing things around there. As far as what makes the Royal Alloy 300 so cool, front and rear disc brake. You do have the hydraulic brake, front and rear. That's a really big component to me, especially like on a scooter that's this A, heavy, and B, fast. You absolutely need to see that. Glad to see that. This bike does feature ABS as well. And if you actually watch Scooter West's video, he shows you a lot of like the insides of this scooter. So it's not something I feel the need to get too crazy about, but this does feature either an identical or an extremely similar ABS module to the Vespa GTS 300. As far as working on these scooters too, these are significantly easier in my opinion to work on. That, granted, there are some very small, minute services that might be a little bit more troublesome, but the fact that that panel, that center section, and the panel on the other side all are easily removed from the scooter That is a fantastic feature to me, and it's very, very, very much worth noting, because to me, Vespas are more often than not cumbersome to work with because of how they're put together, and the fact that the body is a unibody, or it doesn't have any serviceable panels. It also makes, in case you ever would have a whoopsie, it makes a whoopsie a lot more expensive on the Vespa versus a scooter like a Royal Alloy or a plastic scooter of today. As we pump through here, make Kyle a little nervous in the turn. Seating position on this thing I'm a big fan of too. If you look at Kyle, especially here as we're going through this turn, he has a really nice upright seating position. His legs are at a nice 90-degree angle. Overall, I know his one complaint that he's had with it has been the height of this. Myself personally, this doesn't bug me as far as where this is at, because on a scooter, that's where I expect it. A motorcycle, yeah, I'd want this thing up another, maybe even 4 inches would be fantastic. But on a scooter, this is just par for the course. This is truly, like, in my opinion too, this is like a resto mod. You're buying a brand new scooter that's supposed to look old. Now, this might be a little bit past the gray area of, is it old? To the untrained eye, I'm sure you could talk somebody at a gas station and it's like, hey man, yeah, this is actually an old vintage scooter. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I'm sure you could. The Vespas, like, especially the modern Vespas, they look like modern Vespas. They have that big fat front end that encases the glove box. They just have a really modern look to it. Granted, I mean, I think they have like a little bit of a nod to the Vespas of old, but the Vespa today doesn't look like the old bikes. This is a very, 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 now, maybe even a little bit too much. But either way, as we're buttoning this thing up, what we're gonna be doing next is Kyle and I are gonna be pulling these Royal Alloy GP300s into the shop. From there, we're gonna be lining them up. We wanna show you guys our Motorwerx sign that we haven't really ever shown on YouTube. So we're gonna be showing you guys the Motorwerx sign, lining them up there, giving you guys a breakdown that he and I have found on these two scooters and getting into them a little bit more detail. Stay tuned to the end of this video for the Easter egg. But let's get into this breakdown video now.
We'll find out.
Man, powder coating is crazy.
Because we're crazy. Alright, so we just got back from our first ever dual ride video. We're hoping to be doing more of these as these videos continue to move forward. In the comment section, we want to hear from you. Tell us what you thought of that part of the video. Tell us how you liked it. Like I said, it's something that we've talked about doing. We're going to try and continue to do it. And this seemed like the perfect opportunity, since we have the twins, to 2022 Royal Alloy GP300s, both in the gloss black. So we did just get, like I said, we just got back, moved some scooters out of the way so that you can see our beautiful sign that we've never showed anyone really before on YouTube. Especially for how proud we are of this sign. It's shocking that it really hasn't been a part of a video before. But either way, Kyle, 2022 Royal Alloy GP300s. What did you think? What's good? What's bad? Give me the elevator pitch on the Royal Alloy.
I'm very impressed. Right off the bat, the performance. It's very quick, it's very fast. I'm very happy with that. I like when I was following you, your turn signals right off the bat, I could see them right away. That was a nice thing. Sometimes on some of the scooters, turn signals are not the brightest.
Even on that lighting, not just the turn signals, but the headlight even on this thing. That's one thing when you were behind me, with what I could see out of these miserably small and inconvenient mirrors, what I could see out of them, like Kyle's headlight in my rearview mirror was extremely bright. That's a huge thing. I feel like that should be standard on every single two-wheel vehicle, should be a bright LED headlight. I haven't ridden it at nighttime yet to know as far as the output on the road, but as far as especially daytime safety, this thing is super, super visible. So, like you were saying.
I like to see that night, the headlight.
Yeah, I would like to ride it at nighttime. It's kind of tough to ride them at nighttime. I don't know if I've ever done a nighttime ride video. If you guys want to see it in the comment section, let me know and I'll do a nighttime ride video on a Royal Alloy 300. And you can see what it's like there.
I do agree with you on the mirrors. The mirrors are a little bit of a downfall. I kind of see a lot of my shoulder.
They're worthless.
Yeah.
Royal Alloy, dude. These mirrors just... These mirrors to me honestly remind me of these turn signals. You put them on just to get them into here, and you know people are going to take them off anyway because these things are truthfully useless. Like the only way that I could see anything out of them, and I did say this in the video too, is to like angle them up. But now it looks stupid coming down the road at it. It looks like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to put his mirrors. No, it's the only way you can see anything out of them other than your armpit.
It did really well handling. I thought it handled really well. The speed, for the speeds I was going, it handled really well. I was very happy with that. I was happy with the braking on it. Coming to the red light, I didn't like, it's a little tall. Now, you know, you always make fun of my tall torso. My legs are a little shorter.
Kyle's a T-Rex, but instead of having...
Not a T-Rex.
Like T-Rexes have little arms, Kyle has little legs. He's like, he's 6'1" and 5'5" of that. This is his torso. Yeah, they're tall.
Yeah.
I said it in the Royal Alloy GT150 video, and it might even be a little bit taller on these. If you're under 5'10", you're gonna struggle to ride these scooters. They're just too tall and too chunky here.
Yeah. I don't mind that.
No, for me, I like it.
Yeah.
But we come from motorcycles.
Yeah.
So for us, like, we feel more at home with that girth. A lot of your scooter people, and I get it, like, especially too if you're shorter, man, this is kind of a tough machine to handle.
And you can't
because
lower
of the
it
height.
because of
The jury's still out. We have a customer who's extremely interested in one of these. It's one of our good customers who we work with a lot. So I'd be willing to work with them on it. She wants to get the thing lowered down. Our concern is with where this radiator is. I don't know if you can really see it there, but hanging down there is that radiator. Our concern is with dropping it down is that the radiator is going to end up being in the way. So not 100% sure if it's going to be possible to do. It's something we're going to look at doing though. So we talked about the handling, we talked about the performance, acceleration and top speed. These things claim 80 miles an hour on the top speed. Depending on when I rode it, on the ride video that he and I had just done, I only saw 80 for a split second.
Yeah.
The rest of it was 79, but we were going into a pretty strong headwind. Scooters are drastically affected by that. This isn't like your 103 Harley Davidson where it doesn't matter if you're going in the wind, up a hill, whatever, where you can maintain a speed. This is still a scooter. As far as, we talked about the brakes, we talked about the suspension, the performance, the ride height. I know one comment I've heard you make it a couple times here is the height of the handlebar. I don't agree with that, myself personally. I kind of have that expectation when I'm coming into a scooter that the bar is going to be coming down. More often than not, especially when I ride a scooter, I end up like my arm almost sits on my leg. Still get that here. Don't get me wrong, I would enjoy if this handlebar was up a little bit, but there's
not much.
Like 2 inches.
Yeah.
3 inches.
Like it doesn't need to be up like a lot.
But there must be a reason that they do that. What the reasoning is, I don't know. But yeah, I could use it coming up 2 or 3 inches, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I expect that coming into a machine like this. While we're here, let's just bump through. Actually, Kyle, let's switch. Let's put you on the camera. I just want to run down through and show some features to you guys while we go through. Alright, so just to kind of wrap up this section of the video, I just want to show you guys a couple of key components that make the Royal Alloy such a neat scooter. Obviously, these things are finished off in this really nice, deep, dark gloss black. Very, very, very pretty scooters, especially in person. You can really start to capture the details and start to see where this all-metal body is truly appreciated. Again, almost all-metal body. Your front fixed fender is plastic. Everything else on this thing is metal. One thing I really like on the black, we unfortunately don't have a white one, so the jury for me is still out. If you want to come over this way, I'm going to talk about this one. The jury for me is still out because I haven't seen a white one in person yet. But from what I've seen online, the black, I'm a really big fan of this cowl trim. The white, to me, that looks out of place. All in all, and this is the same scooter as the GT150. You can just tap that screen, it'll light back up.
I thought I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Just try not to do it like... All in all, this is the same scooter as the GT150. Fit and finished on the 300 definitely seems nicer. I believe that has a lot to do with the fact that these are now manufactured in Thailand as opposed to China. Kyle talked about the turn signals. So back here you have these nice LED mounted in the body turn signals. These are very nice bright turn signal. I can flip them on here quick and you can see very nice bright turn signals there. If you come up to the front of this here quick, Kyle, too, it has these DOT dummies on it, but then also too, somebody must have butched up because on the GTs these aren't hooked up. On the GP, the body mounted signals are hooked up. So not sure what that is there. Either way, thank you so much, whoever mistake that is, because he's saved us a bunch of time pulling the glove box and doing all that. As far as storage, there is no underseat storage on the Royal Alloy 300. You just have this sticky suction cup holder and then obviously the lock and gas cap underneath here. But no underseat storage, which is a small downfall of this scooter. In the dash, if you stay in here, you do have this nice metal bag holder, and then you do have the glove box here. This is it for the storage. Oop. Take my own stuff out of it. This is it for the storage on the scooters. Not a whole lot going on there. If you actually pan this down, this red button is how you change your trip and how you adjust your bike from kilometers to miles per hour. Other than that, one thing that I think is really neat about the Royal Alloy 300, and this is consistent even from the GT.
Everybody wants to know, what is your favorite part of the scooter that you like personally?
The speed. 1000%. My favorite thing with this bike is 110% the speed. I've ridden GTS 300s. I understand that this motor is a carbon copy of the GTS 300 pre-2019. I've ridden a lot of GTS 300s. I've never once ridden a GTS 300 and pulled back into the shop and came back to Kyle and like, dude, I gotta buy one of those. They're impressive, they're quick, they're neat, I went over in the ride video why I have issues with Vespa, and I think that's a big part of the reason why it prevents me from buying one. Not only that too, the looks of the Vespa, I just can't get behind that fully. This scooter 100% does it to me. So performance-wise, the GP300 has me there, but looks-wise, the entire Royal Alloy lineup has me just because it's such a great-looking scooter. It truly looks old. Other than the fact that you get some of this modern stuff, you really do get an old-looking scooter. But either way, as we're just wrapping up and going through here, get this nice rear flat rack here. This is killer. You don't see nice racks like this on a lot of scooters. I think that's a really important part. You also get this nice Royal Alloy badging here. Again, this nice white stitching on the seats. These panels are fully removable. So in the event that you do ever lay this thing over, it's not like a Vespa where you gotta get the whole body off and do all the prep work there. This thing can be repaired by panels. Genuine actually sells panels pre-painted, ready to put on, so no issues as far as installing those go. Coming up through here, what were we doing, the features?
Yeah.
While we're here, let's show that. That's that radiator that we keep talking about as far as the height of it being down low. We've shown these bikes to a couple of customers since we've had them in here. One of the things that I've heard customers say about these bikes very specifically has been like they're concerned with that radiator, I don't know how to say it without sounding, however I sound.
Country.
Yeah, without sounding country. That radiator, the big thing with that I hear a lot of people say is that they're worried that's gonna collect bugs, that's gonna collect dirt, it's gonna collect mud. 100% sure, I see what you're saying, but if you look at almost any motorcycle sport bike, obviously not Harley Davidson because they're too stupid to put, liquid cooling on their bikes. Any liquid cooled motorcycle on the road, 99% of the time, that radiator is right behind the rear to the front tire. So I don't think that's out of place. My only real concern there would be if this front wheel got too low and you bottom this out, but I think that's a super, super extreme circumstance in stock form. All right, thank you so much for watching, and as we wrap up our time spent together here on the Royal Alloy GP300s, I wanted to personally say thank you so much, as if you're still watching this video right here, right now, you are the real MVP. But switch frame, Kyle is gonna end up wrapping up the rest of this video for you guys.
Like Aaron said, thank you guys for watching and subscribing and liking. It was a real fun experience to get to ride these two. Stay tuned for that Easter egg at the end, because that's something you don't want to miss.
And we'll catch you guys
on the next one.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching our review on the Royal Alloy Grand Prix 300. As always, we'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section with this new style video. Let us know what you think. Kyle, send them out, tell them thank you, all that fun stuff there.
Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.
They release maybe every other week. I don't know. These take a lot longer to film, so.
We're doing it for you guys.
We'll see you when we see you.